You spoke uninterrupted for about 50 minutes.
You can cut me
that
any
was,
way you want.
No, that was
Sorry.
amazing. That was like one of the most unbelievable things I've ever heard.
Hey everybody, it's Stock Picks by Tim, and I've got two important questions that I'm going to have Michael Saylor answer for you guys. And it was actually in an hour and 20-minute long interview. So I've spent a lot of time cutting this up, but I cut it up into about 10 minutes for you guys. And Michael Saylor is going to give you a great explanation of if it can be hacked and if it can be banned. And let's get right into the video.
I have two questions, okay? The remarkable case you just made on behalf of Bitcoin is predicated on the idea that Bitcoin is safe. It fundamentally is as a software matter that it can't be hacked. You said that the database that undergirds it is the most secure in the world. Why are we so positive that when the CIA can be hacked, that this can't be?
We applied the MicroStrategy test. It's a three-part test. Will it be banned? Will it be hacked? Can it be copied?
Yeah.
Right? If you can duplicate it 18,000 times, then it's not scarce and it's not unique. It's not the dominant one. Okay, and if it gets banned, that's no good for us, and if it gets hacked, that's no good for us. So first of all, how can you know the answer to this from the engineering itself? Well, you can't. If the year is 2009 or 2010, you don't really know whether it'll be banned, copied, or hacked, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. We started on our quest in 2020. So in 2020, we had 12 years of history. So what did we see? Well, by 2020, the system had been attacked thousands and thousands of times, but no one had hacked it. So we had $180 billion sitting in a network that no one could figure out how to hack. No one ever hacked it. People, by the way, people will hack the banks around it or the wallets around it, but not the underlying network. So we had 12 years of no hacking incident, and very good reason to believe it won't be hacked, because it is the most secure database in the world. And why is it the most secure? So the technology that's used to secure the network is called proof of work. And proof of work is I pour a lot of energy into the network and I run it through an encryption algorithm, and that's a SHA-256 hash generator. And the combination of those two things with the protocol means that the dominant crypto asset proof of work network will always be the most secure one, and everyone will always defect from the weaker one to the stronger one. So we saw that it hadn't been hacked. There's no way to finesse it, no matter what you do, because it really is it's a brute force wall of encrypted energy. If you want to attack the network and even try to meddle with one block, you'd have to throw $10 billion of capital equipment at it. And if you had that much energy and hardware, you'd be getting paid $10 billion a year to use it to protect Bitcoin, or you get paid zero to try to copy it. So it doesn't make any sense to try to copy it. It's like the dominant monetary network, like Google and Facebook are also dominant networks. Once you get to that dominant position, it's obscenely difficult. Coming back to the banning, there's a kind of misnomer. People often call cryptocurrencies currencies, but it's not a currency, it's an asset. It's a crypto asset. So you're right, Tucker. If the government thought it was a currency, and if it competed with the US dollar or other currencies, then they would take offense and they will suppress it. But on the other hand, if it's viewed as an asset which competes with gold or with index funds or with bonds or property or real estate, just a store of value, or silver, then you can hold S&P index funds and bonds, and you can own land and you can own property. The government would simply like you to disclose when you sell it to someone else at a profit and pay your taxes on it, capital gains tax. The government is regulated where it is allowed, and it's allowed everywhere except there's some noise in China. China is a different situation. In the Western world, the regulations are you can hold this as long as you disclose it via a regulated entity, so you're buying it through a registered exchange, and then when you transfer it, you're subject to IRS tax If you look at the past week, the Treasury, the SEC, the CFTC, Congress, and the Senate are engaged in a enthusiastic dialogue about what kind of regulations will be applied to the transfer and to the utilization of crypto assets. Right? If it looks like there's a set of crypto assets called stable coins that look like US dollars, the President's Working Committee about a week ago suggested that only FDIC-approved banks should issue stable coins. They want anybody issuing stable coins to be FDIC-approved, insured, licensed. So there is regulation coming into the space. Ultimately, I think that the security tokens will be under pressure. The stable coins will be treated like money markets in cyberspace, and probably we're rotating from the crypto entrepreneurs to the institutional, publicly traded institutions, large banks, etc. Bitcoin, what it was going to be was a question until 2014 when the IRS designated as property. You're either property or you're currency. In an inflationary environment, money decomposes into currency and into an asset component, or a property component, if you will. The currency is a medium of exchange that you can transmit without incurring a tax obligation.
Right.
As long as it's secure and can't be copied, and we had to wait 12 years. 10,000 times people tried to copy it, they all failed. Right? Was it hacked? No. Will it be banned? Well, here's the thing that's happened in the last 12 months, Tucker. The IRS said it's property. It's important for it to be property, not currency. Currency is the provenance of the government, right? Every powerful government will have a currency. Every weak government will have a collapsing currency, and every failed government will lose their currency privileges. Why hasn't the dollar spread to everybody's iPhone and Android phone? They're waiting for the crypto rails. Right? At the point that I can download a mobile app, load it up with $87, every other currency in the world starts to collapse into the US dollar, assuming the United States embraces it. So why has the United States embraced it? The United States has embraced it. Why has the Chinese nation been a bit skittish about it? Well, China's got a wall, and behind that wall they have capital controls. They don't want capital to flow freely. A Chinese citizen can't take $1 million out of China. They just can't. Behind that wall, they block Google, they block Facebook, they block Twitter, they block the free flow of capital. That's how they control their system. They print Chinese currency. If there was a free flow of capital, all the current capital would leave China. They'd have a problem. So they've got their system. And in the West, we've got a Western system where we allow Google and Twitter and Facebook. And the Western system is based on the English language, Western values, generally Western law. US dollar, Bitcoin, right? In the last year, the US has embraced Bitcoin. The Chinese have rejected. At this point, you have Jerome Powell saying, this is an asset. It's not a currency. It's an asset. You have Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, saying, this is an asset. Even the bankers, when they're criticizing, quote unquote, they say, it's not a currency. It's not a medium of exchange. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't need to be a medium of exchange. The administration's in favor of this. This is a broadly bipartisan thing. Cynthia Lummis stood up on the floor of the Senate and said, thank God for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sound money. It's sound money to the right. It's sound money to the left. Who doesn't want to economically empower everybody on Earth, right? It's good for everybody in the world. There's broad support in the Senate. There's bipartisan support in the Senate and broad support in the House.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And I've got an actual bonus clip here at the end, but make sure you like and subscribe to show me that you appreciate my content. Thank you so much, and let's roll the next clip.
How high do you think in the next 5 years Bitcoin could get?
Bitcoin's going up forever because it's a cap supply of 21 million, and it's going to go up because of inflation. Right, we're going to increase the supply of dollars, and Bitcoin's going to be fixed, so in dollars it goes up. It's going to go up because of technical utility. We're going to build it into iPhones and Android phones and put it into every computer and move it at the speed of light and build it into Twitter and Square and PayPal and the like. So that'll cause it to go up. It's going to go up for adoption, because of adoption. more and more people are going to bring their money. And when a billionaire joins a monetary network, they bring $1 billion. So when 100 billionaires show up, they bring hundreds of billions of dollars. When companies, when institutional investors show up, they bring massive amounts of capital.